something. You can join Alan and Rich by calling in toll-free 1-800-889-0267 or watch them on elkinsandfriedman.com on Friday nights. Now your hosts for the next hour, Alan Elkins and Rich Friedman.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Alan Elkins along with
Rich Friedman, Alan's partner for 34 years.
And we're here for another exciting installment of the Elkins and Friedman Know Nothing.
I should actually say his legal partner for 34 years.
That's right, Richard. We are not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but just pointing it out. Now, Richard, we have some great stuff to talk about. I got some stories that you won't hear anywhere else. You might hear them on somebody copying us next week.
Right, and I've noticed other stations, other shows have been copying our shows.
They have. There's no question about it.
So I'm glad that they're listening to us.
All right. Well, for the 1,200 or so people that are actually listening to us, good evening, and we'll get the show rolling. First, I'll ask you, how was this past week? Anything interesting happen?
Interesting. Geez, where do I begin?
I don't know. Usually at the beginning. Now, I'll tell you something funny I heard tonight.
Yeah, please.
You know how I'm always saying you're one of the cheapest people I know. Well, I heard you tonight, or actually this afternoon, you were shaking down a client about where's my free food.
Right.
You want to elaborate about that? What was that all about?
Yeah, she works at a local fast food restaurant, and she said she was going to drop by when she came by to drop by
can say
to discuss her
Boston
case.
Market, right? I think we can say that.
Yeah, Boston. She was going to drop by some chicken.
So money plus chicken, or just
a little money and a little chicken.
A little chicken, but
so she brought the little money, but there was no little chicken.
I saw that frown on your face. You must have been upset you had no free food.
I know. So she said Monday she'd make it up to me.
Did she? She actually said she'll bring in food?
And then I talked to another client.
Yeah.
And she was telling me how she's going to be cooking for like 15, 20 people at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So they said if she didn't mind, that following Monday she could bring me some leftovers.
Do you realize you're going to leave our audience with the wrong notion that you're some kind of tightwad?
No.
I don't want them to think that.
No.
Yeah, but it's the truth.
Other things.
All right, I mean, myself, I can't think. I had a 5-hour mediation today. I will say that people acted like mature adults.
That's nice for a change.
Settled the case. So I'm happy about that. And before I forget, let me tell everybody.
Yes.
You're listening to WBZT, 12:30 a.m. If you want to see what the show looks like, what we look like, you can go on elkinsandfriedman.com. We have a live video feed now. If you wish to call into the show and participate, the local number is 561-844-6167, or toll-free anywhere in the United States, 800-889-0267.
I just wanted to say one thing before you continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
If they're seeing us on the internet,
that
I'm the younger-looking guy with the glasses, not the older gentleman with the gray hair.
Well, obviously you need a new prescription. Those glasses aren't working. You look like an old geezer, truth be known. But,
truth be known, right? Yeah.
And what looks like hair, it looks more like straw, but it is. Look how it's getting mashed down there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's my hair, Freddie.
Right.
I'm doing my best. I don't know what I'm.
Yeah, there it is. Nice looking hair, isn't it?
It is. So if you want to see what us handsome gentlemen look like, please go on our website, elkinsandfriedman.com. Along in studio with us tonight, we have our able producer, Freddie. Hi, say hi, Freddie. All right,
Thanks
Freddie
a lot,
Wade.
Freddie, for that. Hello.
I have associate producer Linda, who I think is working on another show. Probably doesn't have a clue I'm talking about her. Now I'm looking at her. She doesn't have a clue. And then we have our board up, who wasn't here last week, Lynn. Are you there, Lynn?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, nice to see you. Not that the other fellow last week didn't do a fine job, but we're glad to have you back, Lynn. Jump in anytime you see fit to do so.
No, thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Do they call her Mama Leone?
Mama Leone?
Why do
Mama
they call her
Leone?
Mama Leone?
Yeah, they gave me that name when I started as an intern because I was an older intern, so I got the nickname Mama Lynn.
Oh, Mama.
Oh, Mama
Yeah.
Lynn. Okay, it's
Very
a
nice.
cute story.
Yeah.
Not particularly interesting, but it's still a cute story.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing. All right, so tonight, Richard, you have a, we can talk about. I looked through the weekend section to see what's going on, and maybe I know you and I talked about probably the movie of the week. If you're going to see movies, probably the Dallas Buyers Club.
Definitely the Dallas Buyers Club.
You want to share? You know anything about the movie? I have a review here I can share, but
I know it's with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, and apparently, he lost 50 pounds
My God, you
for
see how
this
thin
role.
he is? I mean,
he really
looks
did.
Sickly.
Well, if anybody that doesn't know, the Dallas Buyers Club, I guess is the name of a club. It's based on a real-life guy who he's a heterosexual guy, and actually the movie opens up kind of interestingly. He's making whoopee with the two women. Thought he was invincible, didn't use any protection, and contracted AIDS. So what happened is that the government regulations, being what they were back in the 80s, difficult to get any drugs on the market, like AZT at the time.
Right. I think he went to Mexico to get the
right.
drugs.
So these clubs, that's exactly right. These underground networks were springing up where drugs were being actually coming in from either Mexico or parts of Europe to help those suffering. And the movie says that there were other clubs similar to this, but far and away this was the most successful club. And I don't know precisely how long he lived, but looking at the article, I know he lived for a decent number of years following that, and assisted a great many people and extended a lot of lives. So they say he's quite excellent in the role. He lost 50 pounds, and Jared Leto lost 30 pounds for the role. And they say these guys will probably get some Academy Award nominations. So if you're going to see a movie of the week, anybody out there in listening land, this is probably the movie to see. I don't know if I myself will see it. I'm holding out. I am definitely
for Thor, right? You're going to go see Thor?
No. Oh, actually, I saw Thor.
You did see Thor?
Yeah, I did see
Which
Thor.
one, in the special theater or just the regular theater?
No. Yeah, I saw Thor, and I thought it was okay. Not great, okay. But the movie next week I can't wait for, and I'm actually excited, is Hunger Games: Catching Fire. Did you ever see the first one?
I saw the first one when it was on television.
Yeah, well, of course you did. You didn't want to spend the $15. But it's really a good movie, and I read all 3 books, and this is the second installment starring Jennifer Lawrence, who I think's not only the best actress, she's nice to look at, just an excellent actress. So I'm excited, and I'm waiting for that next week.
What about that other movie, Counselor? Did you see that movie?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty.
That was good.
Well, good and kind of wild. And
I will tell the audience, if you remember
movie.
last week, remember how I mentioned some movie with blue hair that I might see only because they were just supposed to be unbelievable lesbians?
Oh, blue hair. That's not the color of your hair next week, is it?
Yeah, boo. Very funny. No, my hair actually looks quite nice. Anybody looking, it's quite white, but it's very. I look like the
very
silver
becoming.
fox.
So becoming, I might be going.
All right, so the first thing, the last couple of weeks, I've seen, we've talked about animals. We've had a lot of animal stories.
Yes, we did. So I think we had our fill for animal stories?
No, of course not.
There's more?
No, as much, if you remember the last week's animal story, we ended up, we were talking, you remember the animal that we talked about? We were talking about the marsupial who made it until
that
it
was a
died.
great story. The marsupial, what was the other animal?
And the other was the sloth. Sloth made it for 5 seconds, and then he was
right,
done.
and that's the one your wife said you were.
Yeah, she called me a sloth. Well, I could get back at her, but I won't for this. But I'm thinking, what's an interesting animal that just doesn't get enough attention? And the poor thing's not even here anymore. It's the dodo bird.
The dodo bird. What happened to the dodo bird?
Okay, well,
I remember it on Fred Flintstone on the show.
You're absolutely right. Well, here's the sad part: the dodo bird disappeared so quickly 300 years ago. It's actually become the poster bird for extinction. So you've heard the expression. I used to actually think. I'm not kidding. If anybody online now, you can see a dodo bird. First of all, you should know dodo birds were like 3 feet tall and 50 pounds. But I used to think that dodo bird meant that it wasn't the smartest animal.
Right, that's what I thought.
But that's not really it. I guess the dodo bird became the poster animal for extinction. And here's what happened. And it says here the dodo bird lived on an island, and I don't even know how to pronounce this. Mauritius. So that's where the dodo bird originated, and it's somewhere out, I think, in the Indian Ocean, on an island. And it says here, I'm reading from an article, 700 miles east of Madagascar. Okay, now, it's probably most similar to a pigeon. It's a very fat pigeon.
But you said the dodo bird's 50 pounds.
Yeah,
Can you imagine a 50-pound pigeon?
Yeah, so
what a mess that would be.
Now, apparently, it was first seen by human beings when Dutch settlers landed on this island in 1598. Okay, so 1598. So we're talking over 400 years ago. So these guys come to the island and they see this giant. It's a perfectly harmless, nice creature. In less than 75 years, it became extinct. And here's the reason why. The dodo bird on this particular island had no predators. Didn't have any natural predators, animals, humans, nobody to bother it. So what I'm reading here, it said the dodo led a charmed life. There were no mammals, there were no reptiles, or even large insects on this island. So it really didn't have to evolve with any natural defenses.
Right.
It says these dodo birds were so trusting that they'd actually waddle up to the Dutch settlers, unaware that these strangers, the settlers, the men, wanted to kill and eat them. And they made it says here, an irresistible box lunch for these settlers, cats, dogs, and monkeys. So I think that what I read in the article, they didn't taste particularly good. It's not like they taste like chicken or anything like that.
It doesn't look like it tastes so good.
Poor dodo bird. Didn't bother anybody. And here it is. So what happened?
But you know, the other thing is look at their wings in that picture.
Guess
they don't
what?
have any wings. They can't fly.
That's absolutely right. And that's the next point. So point number one for our listening audience, I'm teaching you something here. They came from this island of Mauritius.
Right.
They had no natural predators. Number three, interesting, they were flightless. They didn't have to fly. Nobody was bothering them. They didn't have to evolve. It says here that it takes a lot of energy to fly. Once the dodo bird's pigeon ancestors took off from the island paradise, says they gradually lost their ability to fly and at the same time evolved to like turkey-like size. And if you think about it, I guess turkeys, they don't get very far off the ground either.
Turkeys, no, they don't fly either. But
Right.
our producer's saying that we need to take a break.
Dude, we're already on a break. All right, we're
Yeah,
a little
so
over our break. We'll take our first break and we'll come back, talk more dodo bird.
Don't go away. Dodo birds are still coming up.
Life is so overwhelming right now, isn't it? Emotional and financial challenges too much? More debt than you can possibly handle? Are you facing divorce or another family law problem? Injured and don't know where to turn? There is a source of solid, affordable legal guidance. At Elkins & Friedman, an experienced lawyer will explain options and treat you with respect and dignity. They help people throughout Central and South Florida solve those problems. This is a law firm you can trust, where they actually pick up the phone when you call. They have a 30-year record of positive results, and they make legal costs manageable for people from all walks of life. Make the call, 954-372-2630. When you visit, you might even meet Tiffany, the office mascot. Elkins & Friedman take the intimidation and the worry out of getting the legal help you really need. Call 954-372-2630 and begin to make sense of your life. Offices in Fort Lauderdale, Boynton Beach, and Palm Beach Gardens. Non-lawyer spokesperson. Are you dreaming about your next home improvement project? Let the experienced Carbonneau craftsmen help make your dream home a reality. Call them at 954-984-9393 and let them help you redo the things in your home that make it special. At Carbonneau, they specialize in residential door and window design, repairs, and screens. They carry the top brands you know and trust: BHI, Galaxy, Windor, and ES. They'd be happy to create a signature look for your home. Call Carbonneau at 954-984-9393 and let them know you heard about them on the Elkins & Friedman Know Nothing Show. And you'll get a special 10% discount just for mentioning their name. 954-984-9393 is the number for Carbonneau Home Repair. And the sooner you call them and have the home team at your doorstep, the faster that'll make your dream house a reality. Call today or visit their website at CarbonneauHomeRepair.com. That's 954-984-9393. Schedule a free estimate today. 954-984-9393. This is the Know Nothing Show with practicing attorneys Alan Elkins and Rich Friedman. Elkins & Friedman have been helping folks throughout Florida for more than 30 years, and they're here now to share their knowledge and experiences with you. Stand by for more information and fun.
And we're back, everybody, with more dodo bird talk.
Birds. So continue.
Okay, I'm going to be quick because we got a lot of stories to get to, but I hope you're finding this as fascinating as I am. Okay.
And if anyone's sleeping, wake up.
All right. So, next point about the dodo bird. In the evolutionary process, you think of chickens, they lay lots of eggs and things like that. But the dodo bird says that evolution's a conservative process. Creatures will only produce as many young as is strictly necessary to propagate the species. Since the dodo bird had no natural enemies, females enjoyed the unique luxury of laying only one egg at a time. So again,
kind of like a lot of Boca women.
A lot of Boca women? I don't know. It's funny you're laughing. I don't know.
Right,
yeah,
fine.
like a lot of women. Maybe there's a joke there about eggs drying up. I don't know. Anyway, the poor dodo bird So again, no natural enemies.
Yeah.
These Dutch settlers start picking them off one by one, and our poor little flightless friend couldn't take off. And to boot, they could only lay one egg at a time. So you can see where the species started to dwindle very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly, some other points. It says the dodo bird didn't taste like chicken. The Dutch settlers still ate them. It said they did the best they can. They'd salt them up, try to make recipes with them. But the bottom line is that I think I said earlier that they would try to feed the dodo birds to some of their other pets. And just so you know, the dodo birds subsisted on fruit. They had fruits, nuts, and roots from the island. Yes, I think I said earlier, fact number 6, the closest relative of the dodo bird is the Nicobar pigeon. Something else you should know, Richard. It wasn't. They weren't always called dodo
more
birds.
To know?
You think, where does the
I
word
don't know
dodo?
if I can take anymore.
All right, so here it is.
I don't want to ruin the name of our show, the Know Nothing Show.
Well, I am teaching you a lot tonight. Yeah. Since the dodo
Let's
bird.
not overdo it. Okay.
At one time, the dodo birds were actually called wallow birds. That's what they were named after, I guess, the Dutch captain referred to them, and it came from the spelling WALGHVOGL. So if you want to, say to somebody, if you want to act smart now, you'll tell them about the dodo bird, and you'll say, dodo bird, it wasn't even called a dodo bird till recent times.
Okay, good.
Okay, very few surviving specimens. Okay, they have a couple of the parts of the species, such as dried heads and a single foot, in an Oxford Museum of Natural History. So if you find yourself at the Oxford Museum or a museum in Prague, those are some of the few places. Also, one in Copenhagen, you can view the dodo bird.
Okay, let me just tell you something.
Go ahead.
This is not the National Geographic show.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
And I'm fascinated. Okay, two last things, though.
Okay.
Dodo bird appeared in Alice in Wonderland, and you said the Flintstones.
Right.
Okay. And then lastly, it says it may yet be possible to bring back the dodo bird. Because you know how if they find the DNA, it's quite possible.
Oh, yeah, I saw
just
that
like
Steven
Jurassic
Spielberg,
Park.
just like Jurassic Park.
That's right. So there's a possibility that the dodo bird will one day shall arise.
Oh, great.
All right, Richard.
We done with the dodo?
Done with the dodo bird.
Okay, great.
Now, I've got so many stories. Briefly, very briefly, we'll try to have a legal aspect. We usually do lawyers behaving
Oh, I thought
badly.
the dodo birds was the legal aspect.
No,
I'm wrong,
we got much more legal aspect. Well, two things that I found of interest. Everybody down here in the local listening area, maybe even nationally, remembers the attorney Scott Rothstein. That was the guy running the giant Ponzi scheme. He's in witness protection for doing 50 years, and now, the fallout's coming.
Not for doing 50 years.
He's doing 50 years. Yeah. Now, different people, other attorneys, apparently he's talking about, what's the word? He's a stool pigeon. He's naming other people to try to have them lessen his time. But some of the fallout, of course, fell to the lovely Kim Rothstein. So, Freddie, if you have the picture, you can put that up.
Let me see.
This week in the news, I see here we have two pictures up. Kim Rothstein, lovely lady. And the truth is, she wasn't married very long to this attorney. And what her, how involved she was and whether she knew or didn't know. The problem is she still got taken down. But what she got taken down for, I think most people are probably aware, is because when he was fingered, allegedly, he had some conversations with the wife about her jewelry and whether they should report that the jewelry was gone or sold or this or that. The truth is that she, together with a friend and an attorney, I guess, schemed to have some of the jewelry sold. And I know she had a huge ring. I don't want to say how big the ring is, Frank. I don't remember. It was 11 carats, 14 carats. But I think it was like $1 million ring. And also implicated in this case now is this guy Dowd. You ever Dowd's Fine Jewelers?
Right.
Okay, well, they may be operating without one of the Dowds in the near future because he hasn't taken a plea yet, but I understand that he's awaiting some sentence, or perhaps he did take a plea, hasn't been sentenced. But just this past week, Kim Rothstein got 18 months. And I read the article, and I tend to think that was probably the right thing to do.
What, the 18 months?
Yeah, 18 months. I honestly think it was fair, and I will say that she did come clean. I think she had some good legal counsel. And when she realized the jig was up, she didn't try to hide it, made it worse. So in essence, she took her medicine, and the fact is she got 18 months. So, and she chose to turn herself in right away, start doing the time. And I know her friend got some time, and the attorney that also aided those two, I don't think he's been sentenced yet. But that's some fallout there. And then along the same lines of attorneys behaving badly, one of his former partners suspended from the practice of law for lying. There were a couple guys that have already
permanently suspended.
Yeah, one was already. There's another one. It says here a former partner of disgraced Ponzi schemer Scott Rothstein was suspended from practicing law. Mm-hmm. This guy for only 91 days for lying to a New York City co-op board while he was purchasing an apartment. And the story there, indirectly related, he was taking loans, I guess, from the law firm in order to buy a place, and he lied to the co-op board because apparently they don't like it when something is 100% finance. And this is how he was buying. I guess he didn't have his own money.
Yeah, they want you to put down a certain percentage.
Whether or not that's proper or not, 90 days to that, it's not much, like a slap on the wrist.
90-day suspension or 90 days
Yeah, he
in
only
jail?
got a 90-day suspension, so he wasn't directly implicated in the Ponzi scheme, but this is just kind of fallout. So, again, in the scheme of things, I don't know, but Kim Rothstein, we wish her well. She gets out. She probably, I don't know what she's going to do. She's probably broke. Mm-hmm. And I also read, interestingly enough, I know I didn't do this sooner, but she filed for divorce. I think he was married like 4 years.
Yeah.
My question about that is, and if anybody knows it, happens to be listening, normally you have to serve the other party to the divorce lawsuit, so the court has jurisdiction.
Well, unless you don't know where they are and you do it by publication.
Well, and that's the interesting point, because this guy is held in witness protection. So, does her lawyer say, hey, witness protection people, would you please, pass this on and serve Scott Rothstein with the papers so that we can get you a divorce? Or does she do it by publication? I don't know.
Probably a U.S. Marshal probably could serve him the papers.
That's what I think ended up happening. So good luck with that. Bad taste in men, honey. What can I say? It's not always the money. All right, that's that story. Now, we get to the good stuff, Richard.
The good stuff.
The good stuff. Hands
I can hardly
down.
wait.
I have two favorite stories.
Okay.
Here's the first one. Freddie, you don't have a picture of this one, but I'm going to read it to you. A guy by the name of David Eckhart appears to clench his buttocks, and because a cop saw him allegedly clench his buttocks, they ordered enemas be given to him, colonoscopy, X-rays, and all I can do is
where did this happen?
This is crazy. It's crazy. I'm going to read this to you, and I'm going to do it quickly.
Okay.
A New Mexico man is alleging abuse after authorities conducted 3 enemas, 1 colonoscopy, an X-ray, and several cavity searches on him simply because he appeared to clench his butt cheeks. It says...
I don't get...
Okay. They pull him over because they think maybe he's hiding drugs. Listen to this. David Eckhart's attorney recently filed a federal lawsuit on his behalf over this incident in which police and doctors co-opted an unethical 14-hour series of cavity searches. It says court documents state he was driving out of his local Walmart in New Mexico, Demi, New Mexico, when he failed to fully stop at a stop sign. He was immediately pulled over. When he stepped out of the vehicle, an officer reported that he appeared to be clenching his buttocks. So I guess the officer's staring at his butt, or if I can say ass, I'll say ass if you got to believe the other way. Officer says, sir, you're clenching your ass cheeks. Says the fact was cited as probable cause to suspect that he was hiding narcotics in his anal cavity.
I think that's going a little bit too far.
Listen, officers obtained a search warrant, and Eckart's humiliating examination began at a nearby medical center. Okay, so here they are. They list them. Number 1, his abdominal area was X-rayed. No narcotics found.
But that should be the end of it.
No, Richard. 2, doctors then performed an exam of his anus with their fingers.
That should be the end of it.
Okay, no narcotics found. 3, doctors performed a second exam of Eckhart's anus with their fingers. No narcotics.
That should be enough.
And one of these doctors are enjoying it.
I don't know. They're getting paid?
Number 4, doctors penetrated Eckhart's anus to insert an enema. Eckhart was forced to defecate in front of the doctors and police officers. Eckhart watched as doctors searched his stool. No narcotics found.
That should be enough.
5, doctors penetrated his anus to insert an enema second time. Eckhart was forced to defecate in front of doctors and police officers. Eckhart watches doctors search his stool. No narcotics found.
Okay, that's enough, right?
No, Richard, not
more.
yet. Doctors penetrated his anus to insert an enema a third time. I can't imagine what's coming out by the third time.
Nothing.
Eckert was forced to defecate in front of officers. Police officers, Eckert watches doctor search his stool. No narcotics found. Number 7. Doctors then x-rayed Eckert again. No narcotics found. Another x-ray.
Okay, so that's it.
No, Richard.
More?
Doctors then prepared Eckert for surgery. They sedated him, performed a colonoscopy with a scope. They're looking up his behind with a scope and a
because
camera.
he was so clean and cleaned out, I guess he was ready
Clean
for
as a
colonoscopy.
whistle. Inserted into his anus, rectum, colon, and large intestine. No narcotics found.
Okay, that's it, right?
That's unbelievable. Sue these sons of guns, and I hope this guy gets a
I
fortune.
there should be nothing left over in that
I know.
that city or county that did this.
I don't know if I can say this, and believe me if I can.
Well, be
These are
careful.
the assholes that should be arrested.
I know.
Oh, I think I just got beat.
All right.
All right, I got bleeped.
I mean, I think the X-ray would have been enough.
Is that crazy? So he's suing the city of Deming, the Deming police officers. He's suing the deputy district attorney and the medical center.
But you know what's going to happen? I bet at the end they're going to send him a bill for all that medical work he did.
Probably right. That's an amazing story.
Unbelievable. But only
It
here
is.
on this show do you hear things like that.
We got a guy in California, his name is John.
Yeah.
He wants to know, after the first search, is it illegal to continue to do this?
Oh yeah. Clearly, they were over the limit. Listen, I'd say X-ray should have been enough, and searching the anus once, nothing's found. You got to stop
That's
it there.
I think the first two things would have been enough.
Listen, all I can tell you, if you've been subjected to something like this, call us, okay? And Richard will personally search your anus. Now, Richard will personally sue for you.
Yes.
All right, going on to the next story. Oh, we got to take a break already. I'm having
Already?
too much
God,
fun.
where's the time
We'll
go?
be back in just a minute.
Don't go away.
Life is so overwhelming right now, isn't it? Emotional and financial challenges too much? More debt than you can possibly handle? Are you facing divorce or another family law problem? Injured and don't know where to turn? There is a source of solid, affordable legal guidance. At Elkins & Friedman, an experienced lawyer will explain options and treat you with respect and dignity. They help people throughout Central and South Florida solve those problems. This is a law firm you can trust, where they actually pick up the phone when you call. They have a 30-year record of positive results, and they make legal costs manageable for people from all walks of life. Make the call, 954-372-2630. When you visit, you might even meet Tiffany, the office mascot. Elkins & Friedman take the intimidation and the worry out of getting the legal help you really need. Call 954-372-2630 and begin to make sense of your life. Offices in Fort Lauderdale, Boynton Beach, and Palm Beach Gardens. Non-lawyer spokesperson. Are you dreaming about your next home improvement project? Let the experienced Carbonneau craftsmen help make your dream home a reality. Call them at 954-984-9393 and let them help you redo the things in your home that make it special. At Carbonneau, they specialize in residential door and window design, repairs, and screens. They carry the top brands you know and trust: BHI, Galaxy, Windor, and ES. They'd be happy to create a signature look for your home. Call Carbonneau at 954-984-9393 and let them know you heard about them on the Elkins & Friedman Know Nothing Show. And you'll get a special 10% discount just for mentioning their name. 954-984-9393 is the number for Carbonneau Home Repair. And the sooner you call them and have the home team at your doorstep, the faster that'll make your dream house a reality. Call today or visit their website at CarbonneauHomeRepair.com. That's 954-984-9393. Schedule a free estimate today. 954-984-9393. Please welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet network that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet television production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes and live streaming, as well as tape productions. Let AMP2 TV handle all of your television production needs. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP2.tv. Or call them at 1-866-224-5422. That's 866-224-5422. This is the Elkins and Friedman Know Nothing Show. Time to get back to Alan and Rich for more. If you'd like to join in, just call in 1-800-889-0267 and become part of the show. That's 1-800-889-0267. Once again, Alan Elkins and Rich Friedman.
And we're back.
We're
ready
back
for more stories?
That was an unbelievable story.
It is an
unbelievable.
I have one I think that's not quite as good, but I find highly entertaining. And this comes from New York. And if our New York friends are listening, this one's for you.
Okay.
A Manhattan architect has filed a $1.25 million defamation lawsuit against his ex-lover for trashing his reputation by making web posts claiming he is a sex addict with a, quote, tiny STD-infested wiener, end quote, who sleeps with anything that moves. That's also in quotes. And there he is. If you see him on our screen, looks like a nice guy. Well, I don't know if he's a nice guy. I know he's a bum. And apparently in the upper right-hand corner, here's the woman that apparently that he slept with. And we'll just stop right there.
Yeah, enough said.
So the bottom line is, and this is going to probably become more prevalent now that everybody is, using social media, and it's easy to slam somebody on social media.
You could really ruin somebody's reputation.
But apparently, so here's the story. It says that this guy, John Wender, is an architect in Manhattan, and he met a woman named Louise Silberling over the internet in March 2011. They saw each other in person for 3 times and broke up in March 2012. So listen, that's a year. They went out for a year. It says that month, Silberling, who is an editorial associate at Cornell University's Sage School of Philosophy.
Cornell, very good school.
It is a good school.
Excellent school.
She unleashed her wrath on him in a 3-page diatribe posted on her Facebook page, according to a screenshot of the ranting attached as an exhibit to the suit. I guess the bottom line, I don't know. She attached this to her Facebook. She wrote, he was very charming at first, but that he quickly started cheating on her. She called him a psychopath and a player whose lady friend, quote, pimps him out to other women. So here it is. Here's a woman, just really upset, I guess, in essence, that he dumped her. I don't know how else to say it. In fact, I didn't even see this the first time. It says the various postings accused the professional of having a seedy BDSM. I know the sadomasochistic, but I don't know what the BD is. Anybody in here know what the BD is?
BD. No.
Any of our callers know BD? Let me know. Says he had sexual proclivities, including daddy-daughter scenarios. I guess he liked to play out. Over-the-knee role-playing, rape play, forced orgasm, spanking, whipping, paddling, flogging, gagging, strap-on, wax play, autoerotic asphyxia, and strangulation.
I think you covered everything with that one.
I think I did. So apparently they had a pretty interesting sex life. And then, but what she ended up doing, she took it a step too far. It says she even posted fake reviews on professional websites attacking his architectural work, said every word that comes out of his ugly mouth is a lie. So here it is. She really smeared this guy, and the point is, honestly, you can't get away. That is defamatory.
That's
he's defamed him.
Right, that's slander.
Now,
spoken word is slander.
It is spoken slander. Richard's correct. It all comes under defamation. But we do know, at least I think I remember something from law school that
you really do? That's good. It comes in handy since you're a lawyer.
The truth is a defense. So what, Richard? What if it turns out that he really has a tiny STD-infested wiener? How far is this lawsuit going to go?
About as far as that wiener, I guess.
I know. So, when you stop to analyze it, listen, it's actionable. He should sue or he's probably going to make some money. But the way my mind works, okay, you need an exhibit. One of the things, she says he's got a tiny wiener. So as a part of the evidence, is this guy at some point going to have to unveil himself and take out his wiener to prove that it's neither tiny nor AIDS infested?
Well, I don't think you'd have to take it out in the courtroom, but I think they'd probably have to have a professional photographer take some pictures and
Well, how would you
Put him into
feel about
evidence.
it? Is it worth? Is
Carmen from Chicago wants to know if you guys would handle that case.
well, Carmen, I wouldn't handle it, with my hands. That is, but sure, I would.
No, but I always tell my clients, it's easy to sue somebody, but if you can't collect on it after you win the case, what good is it?
But interestingly enough, Carmen, if you're still listening, Mr. Friedman would handle the case and probably enjoy handling the case. I just don't want to make a big deal out of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think she knows what you mean.
And thank you for listening, Carmen. Feel free to call in any time. But it's a fascinating story, and I don't know what the outcome's going to be. It's something that we'll just have to follow through. So that's that story. We move on.
Move on.
All right. Nowhere else are you going to hear about clenching buttocks and anal cavity searches and tiny
I think you actually outdid yourself with that story.
I did. Well, no wiener stories last week. We're making up for it this week, Rich. Now, almost as crass and as ill-advised as the next story that I'm going to do.
I thought we were going to skip over that, but go ahead.
All right. I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to. I'm going to hold it up to the camera and I will read it. Here, let me hold it up first.
What?
So those.
What are you showing us?
Okay, I don't even know if you can read that on camera or see it on camera.
It's a fire extinguisher.
Now here it is, Richard. Here's the title of the article: Naked hotel guest shoves fire extinguisher up ass, causes a scene. Now, I don't know about you. When I go to a hotel, maybe I'll partake of the mini bar. Maybe even at my worst.
There's no way you go to that mini bar. Okay?
No, I don't
you know how
actually.
expensive that is?
Yeah, and I forbid my wife to do it
A little
either.
bag of potato chips is like $8. There's no way you go to that mini bar.
It's another day. I won't even let her order room service. But the point is, I mean, who takes a fire extinguisher?
Because you'll service her in the room. Is that what you're saying? Okay, go ahead.
All right. It says, and here it is, a story out of the Metro. I don't know where the Metro is. Here, I know now. Okay, it's in England. Okay, it says a hotel guest emerged naked from a storage cupboard of the Premier Inn. It's called the Premier Inn.
Yes.
With a fire extinguisher hose up his bottom. Okay? So I just a visual here. It says, this is not all the British court would hear about Joseph Small and his memorable October 31st stay at the Premier Inn in central London. London, if this guy's British, I thought they're dignified people. Who goes around sticking...
I don't know.
All right. It says, according to court testimony, all Mr. Small wanted to do was travel to London from Sheffield to make a deal on a used car. And like any stressed...
Remember Sheffield? Sorry to change the subject. Remember Mr. Sheffield
the English
from the
guy.
Nanny?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, great show.
All right, thanks for that boring tidbit, Richard.
Okay.
It says, like any stressed-out traveler, he stripped off his clothes into the fourth-floor hotel corridor, grabbed a fire extinguisher.
Like any tourist, you said?
Yeah, like any stressed-out traveler. Now, have you ever been stressed out? Have you ever felt like you had to shove a fire extinguisher up your behind? No. Me either. Go figure. It says, once the hose was firmly in place, I don't even know if I can read
It's
this.
enough. It's enough.
No, it's not enough.
I get the point.
I think our audience wants to hear this, and I don't think I'm saying any bad words. It says, once the hose was firmly in place, he began, and I'm reading this right out of
This
the
sounds
article.
almost like the story from New Mexico.
No, that was somebody doing it. This guy's doing it to himself.
Right.
Listen to this. This guy in New Mexico didn't do a doggone thing. This guy began, it says, masturbating and peeing on the floor. It says a hotel worker named Hassan witnessed the event on the security cameras and quickly covered Small with a towel. I didn't know if that is his name, Small, with a towel, and escorted him into the lobby. Now get the visual, okay?
I don't want to.
He puts a towel. Now listen, we better be talking giant bath towels here. Giant bath. Look at this. I don't care if you cover it over, you drape it over his shoulders. You see a guy coming out in the lobby with a fire hose extinguisher coming out of his behind.
I get the point.
You get the point. It says Small began to verbally assault the employee, telling him, this country has been taken over by Al-Qaeda. Go back to Pakistan. He then peed again in the lobby.
All right.
He shouted at a group of tourists, I come from Sheffield in England. Because in an event like this, it's best everyone knows where you come from. That's just in the article. So here, he's proud. He came from Sheffield. I guess maybe that's the norm. It says in his grand finale, he also abused 2 police officers who arrived on the scene. In court.
I got a feeling next week I'm going to be here by myself.
Yeah, I don't think I can top this. It says in court, Small admitted to criminal damage, aggravated harassment, and outraging public decency. Sentencing is adjourned. Actually, it says the sentencing is adjourned until December 3rd. So somebody,
Good.
I'm going to do my best to hold on to this article, and we're going to
do.
see what kind of sentence.
Oh, wait a minute, is that illegal?
Well, yeah,
Is it illegal?
yeah, it is actually. You know what? You're taking hotel property that you don't have a right to take. It's like maybe conversion. You're converting property. Who's going to use that fire extinguisher once it's up your behind? Not me, I know. Yeah, that's it. Look, it's a crime. I'm sure it's a crime.
Well, maybe not to use it again, but you can still use it.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to be used for its intended use, and I don't think
intended
it was intended for that.
Yeah, isn't as a butt swab.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Richard.
All right.
Man, I know I should quit here.
Yeah,
I know I should
please
quit
do.
here. I can't.
Yeah,
we
you
gotta
must.
go on.
You must.
All right, so listening audience, I got one more.
Is anybody listening?
Listening, watching. Okay, it's time for another break.
Not a moment
Some of
too
you
soon.
are probably relieved. All right, we'll take our break. We'll come back for our final segment.
All right, don't go away unless you have to. All right, we'll be right back.
Are you dreaming about your next home improvement project? Let the experienced Carbonneau craftsmen help make your dream home a reality. Call them at 954-984-9393 and let them help you redo the things in your home that make it special. At Carbonneau, they specialize in residential door and window design, repairs, and screens. They carry the top brands you know and trust: BHI, Galaxy, Windor, and ES. They'd be happy to create a signature look for your home. Call Carbonneau at 954-984-9393 and let them know you heard about them on the Elkins and Friedman Know Nothing Show. And you'll get a special 10% discount just for mentioning their name. 954-984-9393 is the number for Carbonneau Home Repair. And the sooner you call them and have the home team at your doorstep, the faster that'll make your dream house a reality. Call today or visit their website at CarbonneauHomeRepair.com. That's 954-984-9393. Schedule a free estimate today. 954-984-9393. Life is so overwhelming right now, isn't it? Emotional and financial challenges too much? More debt than you can possibly handle? Are you facing divorce or another family law problem? Injured and don't know where to turn? There is a source of solid, affordable legal guidance. At Elkins and Friedman, an experienced lawyer will explain options and treat you with respect and dignity. They help people throughout Central and South Florida solve those problems. This is a law firm you can trust, where they actually pick up the phone when you call. They have a 30-year record of positive results, and they make legal costs manageable for people from all walks of life. Make the call, 954-372-2630. When you visit, you might even meet Tiffany, the office mascot. Elkins and Friedman take the intimidation and the worry out of getting the legal help you really need. Call 954-372-2630 and begin to make sense of your life. Offices in Fort Lauderdale, Boynton Beach, and Palm Beach Gardens. Non-lawyer spokesperson. Please welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet network that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet television production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes and live streaming, as well as tape productions. Let AMP2 TV handle all of your television production needs. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP2.tv. Or call them at 1-866-224-5422. That's 866-224-5422. You're listening to the Alan Elkins and Rich Friedman Know Nothing Show, with two longtime attorneys who are here to share their experience and knowledge and some fun along the way. The toll-free number, if you want to participate, is 1-800-889-0267.
And we're back for our final segment.
Not a moment too soon.
Now listen, Richard, if
What?
it were up to me, I have two more stories along the same vein.
But thank God it's not up to you.
But Richard, I'm deferring to Richard. He says enough with that, and I'm going to save these two stories for next week. So those of you that like that kind of thing, it's going to entice you to listen next week. So we will change now. We will go to something of a less purient nature here.
Yes.
All right. I have two stories related to the airlines. The first one I'm going to read is about a French family that was a large man. And here's the title to the article: Too fat to fly, French family stranded in the U.S. So the story goes like this. A French family has been stranded in Chicago for about a week after British Airways deemed the man too fat to fly. His name is Kevin, Cheneais. He's 22 and a resident of France. Apparently, this guy weighs 500 pounds, and British Airways said, "Sorry, sir, you're too fat to fly."
Well, what seat would accommodate somebody that heavy?
You know, anybody in the airline business, I don't know if my wife's listening, she's a flight attendant, but, you know, they do have these extended straps, but I don't even think extended straps would fit this lard-ass.
I think you'd have to get like a special seat.
I don't think they could fit them in. And not only that, but sometimes I know, remember there was a thing with, I think it was Southwest a while ago, where they actually make them buy two seats.
Right. Remember there was that story where they made this guy buy two seats?
Yeah.
But the reservationists put the seats in two different rows.
Is that a joke? Or
No, I swear to God, it happened. It was on the news.
Put them with the luggages.
Put them in the luggage. No, so the truth is, and you know, and on some flights, I suppose that there's certain weight restrictions, and I guess depending on how heavy this fella is, what are you going to do? So in any event, it's 500 pounds. They wouldn't let him on the plane. So it said a British Airways spokesperson confirmed the airline was unable to let him on the flight from Chicago to France because of safety issues.
Well, how did he get from France to the United States?
Well, here, I have a feeling, but here's the story.
You have a feeling? Well, share that feeling with us.
Our customer service team worked diligently to find a solution, have exhausted all options. Unfortunately, it's not possible to safely accommodate the customer on any of our aircraft, and the family has been offered a full refund. Now, here, there's a little more to the story. It says he traveled with his family about 1.5 years ago for treatment of a hormone disorder at the Mayo Clinic. It says he put on weight during his stay.
I think maybe next time if he holds the Mayo, I mean, maybe it wouldn't be quite as heavy.
That's pretty good. Where's my bag? All right. So, good point. So, you know, who knows? Maybe this guy, you know, was 300 pounds. He put on some weight during his stay. And we know how good the food is in the U.S., although he came from France. So you got to think that France doesn't get any better than that. It says when he and his family were ready to leave, British Airways had to break the bad news. It says that they'd been staying at the airport hotel for about a week, and British Airways remained in continuous contact. So you know what they did?
What'd they do?
You know how fat ass got back to France?
What, by boat?
On the Queen Mary.
Queen Mary.
That's it. So it says the family, according to reports, ended up taking a train to New York and will board the Queen Mary cruise ship to cross the Atlantic.
But what's the number one thing you
France.
do on a cruise ship?
Oh, of course. This guy doesn't turn down a buffet. I think he has his own buffet.
Oh, my God.
You know, and again, I don't want to be cruel, but it's just, I can't help myself. But, you know, this guy's diving in the pool. Can you imagine what that's like? They're yelling a whale on board.
But let me ask, who's paying for that ticket on the ship? Is the British Airways paying for it?
Well, he got the money back from the plane, so maybe they did that. Now, listen, something else comes to mind. The Queen Mary's an old cruise ship. Cruise ship bathrooms, for anybody that's ever been on them,
I can barely
tiny.
fit in it, and I'm a thin guy.
You are a thin guy. You can barely turn around. This guy, they must have to hose down on deck. This guy, there's no way this guy can fit in one of those little cruise ship, you know, bathrooms.
I know. Maybe they put him on one of those little lifeboats.
Anyway, so is this story more to your liking, Richard? Because I had a guy
getting warm. You're getting warm.
Off. All right, so that's the first story. Now, the other story related to the airlines, I saw it. I actually have on my phone, and this is really this airline. You know, bad for them. Here's the story.
What'd they do?
Airline passengers, and this is just a day or two ago. Airline passengers in Philadelphia came together in a show of support for a legally blind man who they believe was mistreated by a flight attendant. Says the incident happened aboard a U.S. Airways express flight on Long Island. I think it was from Philly to Long Island.
Probably Islip Airport.
Says the issue was over. This guy's name was Albert Rizzi. Albert Rizzi's guide dog. I don't know. I didn't tell you that earlier, Freddie. I don't know if you get a picture of Albert. Albertrizzi.
What was wrong with his dog?
So he had a guide dog. He says, the truth is you're supposed to be able to fit your dog underneath the seat. And most guide dogs, they're not the little miniature dogs.
Those, what do you call them? They're either German Shepherds or they're...
Yeah, so the truth is, and not only that, and I don't have it in this article, but I remember reading that this flight was delayed about an hour. And even the best dogs, the best service dogs, they're not going to be curled up at your feet. There it is. So you see his dog.
That's a, what do you call that dog?
I call that medium-sized dog. No, it looks like maybe a golden retriever.
No, it's not a golden retriever. Is it a retriever?
It's a big dog.
Okay,
but the point is, here's a legally blind guy. You can bring service. So this flight attendant, I'm not going to say it's going to cost her a job, but in a move of solidarity, all the passengers on the plane said if he's being forced off the plane, we're getting off the plane.
That's nice.
And I think that's just a terrific story. So they all got off the plane. And then I remember reading, I don't have it here, but they were actually bussed over. They ended up taking a bus. So kudos to you. And again, I don't know that there's any kind of lawsuit from this, but you have to exercise a certain amount of discretion and judgment. And this flight attendant, just a dummy. So she'll get,
She probably should get the Dodo Bird Award.
No, don't insult the dodo bird like that. They weren't stupid.
I didn't mean to.
They just went extinct.
Forgive me.
Yeah, so the truth is, sorry, dodo birds, but we used to, last week, we usually do moron of the week or idiot of the week. I'm just going to say, incredibly unsensitive, mildly brain-challenged flight attendant from the airline.
Very nice way of putting it.
Now, the only story that I didn't get to, and I'm not going back to the journey, so we only have a minute. I was going to go ahead and talk about Alec Baldwin and that.
Oh, yeah, I heard he was crying in court.
With his soccer. Listen, we probably don't have time, and how much time do we have? Hold up your finger. I have 1 minute.
1 minute, okay.
But the story is Alec Baldwin had an affair with this woman, slept with this woman, and then dumped her. She got mad. She started stalking him. Stalking charges were filed. He came to court, like you say, and cried, boo-hoo-hoo, this woman's victimizing me. The bottom line, and it took a lot of criticism, she got sentenced to 6 months. She's found guilty by this judge, maybe not the brightest guy, sentenced to 6 months, and he gave her an additional 30 days for being in contempt of court because I guess she talked back at some point. The best part of the story, and I know I got 30 seconds left, is that got the conviction. Alec Baldwin going out of court. He's talking to reporters or being hounded by reporters using ethnic slur. This just happened yesterday. If you take a look, I got 10 seconds. Good night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. Call us if you need an attorney. We'll finish up the story next week. I will finish up the story.
All right, take care. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you next Friday, 7 o'clock. Wave, Alan.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you then. Bye.